Welcome back to the workshop, and we are continuing to work on the Rolife flower shop kit build we've been working on. And like I said, it is a flower shop kit build, so I think it's time we just skip on ahead and build the flower shop. So here's the plan. We're going to build out the flower shop, the actual structure, the building itself. All this other stuff I'm going to do in short form content. I'm going to do it as YouTube shorts, and then we'll come back and put those pieces together in this building that we're about to build, or the flower shop itself. With that said, let's go ahead and get started on building the flower shop. Actually, more what I wanted to do from the get-go. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to start right here. This is the sequence of assembly for a large frame, as it says. And we're going to start here with number 1. And I've got all these parts, I think pretty well prepped out. So that first board is this one here, which I guess is F2. And then we need to, basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of sheet it or wallpaper it with these paper cutouts I did. Yeah, we're going to have to glue this paper front and back. So what I've got, I went and I've used this glue before, the tacky glue. What is this? Aleene's original tacky glue. It actually works pretty well as long as we can get it kind of spread out across here. I'm just kind of glob it on here, I think, because we want to get a pretty even coat of this. So what I thought we'd do is kind of glob it on like so, and then maybe try to use some cardboard to and stick our finger in it to kind of smear it around. Kind of like we're putting some, back in the 70s and we're wallpapering a wall, and this is our wallpaper glue. Let's see if this will work. I think the main thing though that we want is I want to get it. I'm going to pull it off my instructions too, just to keep those clean. I kind of want to pull it out, make sure we get it pulled out to the edges. I could use a brush to do this, I guess, but I thought it might build up too much. Oh boy, on the brush, and also ruin the brush, so I didn't really want to do that. So let's see how well this works. Everything we've done with this build so far has worked so well. I mean, how could this go wrong? Yeah, I just want to try to make sure and get the edges are my main concerns. I mean, I want the middles or the insides too, but the edges are where it'll peel, if you know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully that'll work like that. Let's see. Let's grab, oh, here it is. Let's try, is that supposed to go across? I guess so. It goes across like that. Is that? The wood doesn't go across, but that does. Okay. Now we should be able to hopefully get this to lay in place. The stuff it is called tacky glue. It's really tacky. Let me get the corner here. I'm going to lay it along this edge like so. Try to roll it this way. Getting that edge. The main thing I don't want to happen is to get a wrinkle. Like right there. See how that's trying to wrinkle? Oh, I can't pull it off. So we're going to have to try to get that down smooth. There we go. I don't know what's going on with this here. I think that's probably going to get cut out eventually. Come on, push down smooth for me. That works pretty well. I mean, this glue, it's good for paper craft and whatnot. It's kind of, I almost consider it, it's almost like the super glue of paper. So you do have to be careful. You have to get your piece in place, because you don't get a whole lot of leeway. Now I think I have a piece of paper. I have a paper cut. Yeah, it's gonna be this side. That's gonna go here, like that. I think I might wait. Yeah, let's wait, because they show us putting it on over here. Let's wait till we actually do that piece before we put that one on. But I'll have it on the ready to go. We've got some kind of edge, like it doesn't completely cover these little, I don't know if they're windows or whatever they are. And I've got some that I need to trim off, which I think that'll be easy enough. I can just kind of trim the paper. I'll let it, I think it'd be probably, yeah, see that already ripped. You know what? We're cutting that off. It's already ripped. it's already, you know, a problem. So by the standards of this build, that turned out pretty well. Now, we've got some things we need to put on here, including our flower shop sign. This guy here is going to go over the door, right, I guess right in here. I think this, yeah, I think this glue will work for this here. I'll just put a spot. So this is, it has depth to it. So the only places that are going to touch are these two edges. So that's where I'm going to dot my glue here if I can. Right there. And right there, like so. And then I guess we just kind of eyeball it over, just kind of over the arch of the door. Let's see, let me stand it, like if it was standing, it's going to be like that. I want it to be level to the world, if that makes sense. So I think that's pretty close right in there. I think's where we want to go, about right there. Then we've got some, for some reason, we're hanging paintings on the outside of the shop, but that's what they want us to do. We've got this guy, we've got this guy, and we've got a little sign which says the language of love. Isn't that nice? Isn't that sweet? That's what this channel needs, a little love. Give me some love down in the comments. It would really help out, especially with this build. So this, I guess, is going to have to sit right in here because it's the only place it'll fit. Let's see, what's the best way? I don't want to make a mess here. Let's just dot some glue, a little bit of glue on here. And then let me see if I can, I'd like to spread that across. If I could. Like so, hopefully, come on. I think that'll work. And then let's carefully place this right in this area here. There we go. Seems like they could have just printed that on here. It doesn't have any, it's just another piece of paper glued on top of a piece of paper. Why didn't we just include that in the printing? Same with these pictures. Like this picture is going to go here. It seems like it could just be printed on there. I don't understand that, but that's fine. We'll do it for the, we'll do it for Rolife. We'll do it on our own. Let's see. Where's my spreader? Let's pull this glue as best we can. Again, I kind of just want to get to the edges of the painting just so it, you know, the edges don't start peeling up. And it spreads pretty well for us, just like that. And then I'm gonna just try to line it up with the edges of the wall, something like that. Just knocked my spreader on the floor. Let me grab it real quick. Be right back. All right, you got it. Okay, and then we have one. Where'd that other painting go? Here it is. It's upside down. This one goes below that hole right there, so right in this area. Okay. Can do. Again, just a dot of glue there. Let's see if I can pick it up without sticking my finger in the glue. All right, and then we'll just kind of spread it again to the edges all around on this thing. There we go. Try to make sure I have it the right way up, like this. And it's going to go right, I guess, right in. Oh boy, can I scoot it over? Is it too late? No, there we go. Right in there, I guess. And I think that's, oops, knocking my glue around. I think that's basically our front wall. Make sure the sign gets glued on here. Kind of wanting to pull away. Yeah, that's basically our front wall, as far as I can tell. I think that sign's, the flower shop sign's gonna be good enough. Okay, let's move on. Next we've got, where's it at? I've got all the pieces here somewhere. What'd I do with it? I think this is the smaller piece of wood. Yeah, where are you at? Here it is. So we've got that piece of wood, that paper cut, and then there's a little bitty paper cut here. This little guy there. All right, and this needs to be glued on here and then kind of folded around and glued. So let's see if we can just do that like so. Again, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me make sure I'm open. Oh, I just got glue all over my instruction book. Make sure I'm up here where you guys can see. I'm just kind of dotting glue on here like so. Probably put some there and over in that corner. And then just taking this is just cardboard scrap I have. And I'm going to try to pull all that towards the outside and towards the corners. Towards the edges. And this has folds that will make around the edges of the wood piece. So I want to make sure and get those coated also. This way. Try not to get it on the front side. It gets on your fingers and then it wants to smear everywhere. I think the better way to do this is if you put down some wax paper or something like that, some parchment paper, instead of holding it in your hand, just to lay it on that. But we're in a hurry as usual here to try to get this done in the time we have. Okay, nope. That's not even close. Okay. Let's line up. We've got our dotted lines there. I'm going to line that up. I'm sure my head's in the way right now. Let me line it up like so. And that should get us real close to where we need to be. And then just kind of smooth it out from one side to the other. Yeah, and I got some glue on the front side, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. We can get that off. Like so. And then let's try to go ahead and fold these edges while we're at it. Basically, these edges are going to fold around. And I've got so much glue on my fingers. They're going to fold around like this here. And I think I got them glued up well enough. Maybe not. If not, we can go back and add some to get them to stick down. You can see where I got glue on it here. That'll actually, you can get that off with an eraser. Some of this doesn't seem very well attached. So what I think I'm going to do, let's see if I can just kind of get a little dot of glue right in here. This is not wanting to stick. I didn't get it kind of pulled to this area well enough. So I'll just add some glue in like so. But I can get the corner of this in that's kind of smeared along the edge of the board itself like this. In there. And then now let's pull it like so. That's not too bad. Okay. I think I can work with this. Because this is actually going to be attached right inside here. This is starting to, yeah, that's not, let me get this glued down. This did not glue at all. And again, I'm just going to use the corner to try to smear it in there. I don't know. I guess that's the way to go about it. Like so. And now let's get you glued down. Good. Oh, and before I forget, we've actually got to add this little piece. I don't know why it's done separately, but we got to add this little piece right here. To cover this edge. Right in here. So I'm going to make sure we get some good glue in there. And it's just literally, it's just a little piece of white paper. I mean, I've mentioned it before. This stuff is not like cardstock or anything. It is literally just printer paper weight white paper, like you go buy at, Office Depot or something. Which, I don't know, I find a little on the kind of cheapy side. I don't know. It just doesn't have a good feel to it. I mean, I don't know. It works, I guess. Give it that much. Now we want to glue this to this edge these edges need to line up on this from what I can tell in the instructions. And I think, wood glue would be the way to go here. Does this need? Problem is that needs trimmed, but that's okay. We're gonna let it be. But I think this glue will work here. So I'm going to kind of, you know, actually I should put it on here because I don't want too much glue on this side. That's where our other paper goes. And you got to leave, I've accidentally set this up upright. You need to leave this actually sitting like this so that the glue stays at the tip side of this thing. Come on. Give me some glue. There we go. Let's do, and this I don't think I really need to, I don't think I really need to spread it around. I think just like this will be fine to hold, because we're just basically trying to hold this in place now at this point. I want to line these up as best I can on this edge here. You know, the bottom. Yeah, just like that. Oops, it slid. I'm going to just keep it lined up down here on the bottom, along with this edge over here. And I think that's pretty good. Okay. It's something. Okay. And then this actually goes here like that. So we're going to need to get glue all over this here. So let's see if our little smear technique will work here. I need to make sure we get it. Need to make sure we get it on this little edge here. This is definitely where it'll want to peel back on us. Okay, I think I got it. And now we're going to pull this to the edges and corners. Might have to add just a little bit more to make sure it gets done. And I moved this. I was afraid of that. Put it back where it goes. I think that'll be all right. That, to add a little extra glue there. Just like so. Let me flip it this way, actually. Okay. Kind of pull this, the extra that kind of goes over the edges. I'm going to pull that up and add it back on. I think that's going to be okay. Let's make sure this is lined back up. Heat on this side. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what's the best way to do this. I think I'm going to go here. Try and line us up right here around the door frame. I've stuck my arm in my glue paddle. Great. My little glue squeegee, whatever we're calling our cardboard piece, we're squeegeeing the glue around with. I stuck my arm in. Okay, now again, this is where I want to make sure this actually gets. And then I don't get this in the middle. I'm cutting it again. I'm probably gonna regret it. I see it rips. It just ripped on me. That's okay. If I ever did this again, or if we do another one of these, let me know if you'd like to see this. Because what I would do, like all this paper stuff, I wouldn't even use it. Like, why are we? I would just go ahead and paint. This is basically MDF, this wood. So you have to prime it pretty good because MDF it'll soak up your paint for sure. But I would probably prime all this, and then I would just paint this. This is a super easy paint job to do. It's just base, and then just a little bit of smudging or sponging to give it this texture. I mean, obviously this we would just paint white, and it would look so much better than this gluing paper to it, you know. But this is how they want us to do it in the instructions, so that's what I'm doing. I find it strange that we wrapped that, but then this edge is not wrapped. But okay. But I think that's actually got this wall completely done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it aside. I'm literally running out of room on my table here. I keep this this area right here. I keep clear. Outside of what you can see is an absolute nightmare. I'm gonna set it over here. Okay. Now next we've got this board here. Let me get that out of the way. Let me get our glue paddle. So we've got to put. Okay, we've got to put this on this side. I think we're going to do the same thing. Yeah, we got to do each side again. So we're going to put this on this side, this on the back side. So let's just get that. Let's get it done. I think I'm going to be somewhat liberal with the glue here because I don't want to. I don't want this to take forever. Okay, now let's smear that around. I think that's the correct terminology. You smear it at this point. I think spreading might be the better way to say it. We're going to spread this. We're going to coat the surface. How about that? That sounds a little more technical, a little more like I know what I'm doing. All right, let's get this. Let's just make the biggest mess we can. I think that's the goal. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fun. Oh boy, it is. It can be a mess though. You gotta be careful. Okay, let's make sure. Again, I want to make sure I get these edges are my most, and the corners. The corners are always what really try to peel. So you want to get those coated. All right, let's lay that down flat. Get some of the glue off our hands. And then I think I'll just start at the bottom here. Line up one corner, line up the other corner, and then just try to roll it down and then pray we get close. And that's not too bad. Got to get some of this glue. Got a lot of, I might have gone overboard with the glue, but I think it's better to do that than not enough, I think. I had a paper towel. Here it is down here. Get this glue off my hands. I don't want to make a mess of this like I did the last one. Now, we are going to finish. So I'm going to finish this while I spread this down. I figure I'll talk about it. We're going to finish this, obviously, here in this series. Like I said, all those little flower things, all the stuff that we kind of been working on before that I'm not going to lie has been quite boring. And the views on this series show that it's quite boring. I'm going to do those all in shorts, but then we're going to come back and we'll complete this. When I get all those shorts are done, we'll complete the build. But then we're going to come back to this in the fall. And this is why I don't mind it getting some smudginess on it and stuff like that. Because we're going to come back in the fall and we're going to Halloween this thing out. We're going to turn it into more of a haunted flower shop, which I think will be a lot of fun. But I want to do that in the fall when we get a little closer to Halloween. Because in that time, that's what these builds probably all will be Halloween type stuff. So I'm gonna save it for then. Let me get some more glue out here. But I think it'll be a lot. I think that'll be a lot of fun because you could do, almost like a little shop of horrors kind of. We can. I wonder if I could find or just make like a Seymour plant that we could put in the middle. Which I guess the Seymour plant. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Little Shop of Horrors, whether on stage or the movie. I think there's been a couple different versions of the movie. I think there was a. The Rick Moranis version. Is that Rick Moranis? Is that his name? Rick Moranis and Steve Martin was in it. That's probably the most popular version of Little Shop of Horrors. Anyways, yeah, and Seymour is the plant that kind of has its own life. And Seymour is the Rick Moranis. What am I talking about? His name is Seymour because it keeps saying "Feed me, Seymour." Yeah. But so the main character's name is Seymour, and he has the plant, and he has to essentially feed it people. But I think it's based off of a corpse plant. If you're familiar, if you've never seen a corpse plant, check it out. Do a Google search. Get on the old Google machine and look up corpse plant. We actually had one here in Houston, or we still have it. They bloom I don't remember. They bloom very rarely. I don't remember if it's like 10 years, every 10 years, or every 30 years, or something ridiculous. But we had one bloom a while back. Here in Houston, I went and checked it out. And they're called corpse plants. They're called that because they make a horrific smell when they bloom. And they're huge. I mean, I went and saw it. I'm 6'1". I went and checked it out. It's way taller than me. It's a big, huge plant. I mean, a huge plant, like it kind of looks like what's in Little Shop of Horrors. But when they bloom, it just stinks like a corpse. And the whole idea is it brings in animals. I think mainly birds. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But it tricks them into thinking there's a dead critter there that they can go eat, and they go in, and then the plant eats them. It's like a huge Venus flytrap is what it kind of even, that's what it kind of reminds me of. But anyways, maybe we can make one of those to put in the middle of the shop, along with, just dirtying it up, dinging it up, spider webs, the whole Halloween kind of thing. Maybe we have a pile of the bones behind where it's eaten, and then you got to discard the bones, and there's a pile behind the shop or hidden in a corner or something. I think that would be a lot of fun. But that's the ultimate plan for this build, which is going to be, I think, much more fun and much more interesting than what we're actually doing now, which is just building it straight. But I do want to get this done because there are people out there that want to see this build. I want to do it for you. I want to, you can kind of see what's involved with doing one of these, especially by an absolute amateur like myself. But anyways, that's got that board done. And now I think what we'll go ahead and do is we need to do the floor. Where is my big... Whoops, there went some glue off my table. But here's the floor piece. So you can kind of see what the floor... what should I say? Kind of the size of the footprint of the floor is going to be. How do they have it? This way. And then this goes on here. And I haven't cut these out, these little slots. I figured we'd glue it up, let it dry, and then I can just cut them out. I think it's going to be the best way. Boy, this is going to be a fun one. Let's do this one together real quick, because this is going to be, when this goes real bad, I want you here to witness it. But then we're probably going to let this dry up. I'm going to do this last. I got one more wall we got to do. We're going to run out of time here in a second. I'll do that one in between episodes, and then when we come back, we'll start back up right here, which is basically, I think, starting to assemble this. Oh, come on, glue. Don't run out on me now. I'm kind of low. It's not a lot in here. Come on. Let's see what I can get out. Hopefully I can get enough glue out of this thing to get this huge piece done. I've got not only this one, but that other wall to do too. I've got to get... I'm squeezing as hard as I can right now. Okay, we're going to have to make that work, I think. Oh, I think I've glued the bottle closed. There we go. All right, where's our cardboard? Yeah, this one's going to be tough to just get it. It's a big piece we got to kind of lay on here and hopefully not screw up, right? Let's see if we can get this. Is there a better way to do this? I think, spray adhesive would probably be the real way to do this, right? I didn't want to do it because I'm right here at my work table, and I didn't want to get spray glue everywhere. I think if we took this out, either into my booth or something like that, I think spray adhesive, I should say, would be really the way to do this. I wouldn't use like Super 77 or anything. I use just the matting, the stuff that you use to mat, the spray adhesive you use to mat artwork with. That's what I would use. It's made for paper. I think I even have some somewhere. But again, I didn't want to be spraying adhesive everywhere. This is making enough of a mess just like this. I think that's going to work. Now, this is going to be, let me get this glue out of here. Okay, let's give it a try. Now, what we want to do, I think, first to make sure we got, this is the correct orientation. I guess I'll just kind of hit a corner again. Down this bottom edge, I'm lining up this edge down here. And then I'm going to hope we're close. I think we're close. And let's just kind of work smooth and work it out like so. We've got, yeah, close enough, I think. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Nice. Now we've got actually got a lot of extra material, kind of overhang material. I guess maybe they gave us a little extra. So once this dries up, I can go and kind of trim up this extra material that's overhanging the edges. We've got one little bubble there, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that out, nor if it's even noticeable. All right, good. And then, you know, when the time comes, I think, like the front wall, where do we do the front wall? Our front wall is actually going to go, yeah, it's going to go here, I think. Yeah, we'll have to cut that. We'll have to cut this out. And then I'll go right there, which I think we'll do right now, just so that I have it. And because I'll probably need it for the thumbnail anyways. Now it would make sense to actually let this glue dry before before doing that. But I bet I can just kind of fold it down like that. And I bet this will poke in there like so. And then there's the start of a flower shop. Nice. Okay, well, I think that's going to have it for today. Like I said, tomorrow, I'll take care of this. This is the back wall. I don't even know if you can see where I'm pointing. This is the back wall here. I'll take care of that before we get together tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll have all this stuff, cut apart, ready to go. And we'll continue assembling. Let's see, let me turn the page to and see what all we have. Yeah, we'll continue assembling through here. This is actually going to get pretty cool. This is the part that I actually kind of like doing. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, and we'll get, like I said, we'll get this assembled. Basically, I think we're going to work through, I've glued my construction together. Okay. Yeah, through basically the end of it being constructed. So to here, complete as shown. And then while we're doing this, like starting today, I'm going to start shooting shorts where we are going to start building some of the stuff we skipped, but all these little, I mean, it's just little bitty things. It's just little plants and stuff. I'm going to shoot all that as shorts. And then once all that's done, we'll come back and put the whole flower shop together. And then we'll be done with it until the fall, if that makes sense. But thank you for joining me today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you think about doing like a spooky Halloween kind of build out of this once it's done. Yeah, so leave me those comments, hit the like button, subscribe, do all those things you know you have to do on YouTube. If you could, please do it on this video for here also. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.